Hello and welcome to the Don't Tail This podcast, a sports betting podcast for people who suck at sports betting and have no plans on getting better. I'm your host, Al Mannarino. With me, as always, is my co-host and partner in losing, Mr. Ben Murchison. Ben, what's going on, sir?
Zero plans of getting better. We don't know how. Wouldn't be fun if we did. I'm good, man. I'm just excited to be on here talking football with you again.
Absolutely. And, on last week's episode, we discussed some of our favorite win total futures as we get ready for this upcoming season, which me and you are so excited about. Like, we don't want the summer to end, but we also really want it to end so we can get to football. So this is like kind of the happy medium where we get to talk about football, even though it's not actually around us right now because no one's watching preseason football.
Speak for yourself.
How are you feeling about those picks that we made last week?
Horrible. I've already second-guessed most of them. I feel like I would want to substitute several. Even one of the things we're going to talk about today completely contradicts everything that I said. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah,
it's truly our text messages brought to life. This podcast. I'm super excited about this week's episode. Like, this is the one I was actually looking forward to the most in terms of futures, because not that we're ever right about anything ever, but this is like, I don't know, it's something fun that we can literally kind of follow the whole season and track. And outside of like injuries, these have like, data to back them up, kind of. So,
yeah.
What is on the agenda today?
Yeah, for sure. So, like you're saying, I think we can agree about what's great about sports betting, why so many people get into it, is because it adds stakes to like a game you might otherwise not really care about. Maybe fantasy implications, but not all the time. And it gives you like a thrill that you can go through and follow. The issue with this is that, 4 hours later, typically the thrill is gone, and so is your money. So this is an instance where, the cool thing about future bets is that the thrill gets to last a lot longer. So today, yes, we are going to be crafting Milestone Parlays for some major categories. It is one that I am excited about, and I'm excited to see which superb athletes you're throwing into the mix here for these.
Yeah, I got some fun ones, which you texted. You texted me about one of them, and you were like, "Can I veto?" And I said no. So you're gonna have to enjoy that. So what are we doing here? We're gonna be talking about different milestone parlays, as Ben mentioned. First one up is player to have 1,000 plus receiving yards for the season. And because we are terrible at this, instead of just playing these straight, we're going to parlay these. So we're doing this on DraftKings. You can do this anywhere you want. Find the best line possible. Make sure that you can parlay this. We could do this on DraftKings. We have tested it. And we're going to basically be building these out throughout the episode. So the first one up is 1,000 receiving yards. We're going to pick 4 receivers that are going to break 1,000 receiving yards and parlay them together. Throw $20 on it. So, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. All
right. My first pick, I'm going with someone who only hit this mark last season by 1 yard. He had 1,001 yards receiving. I'm going with Jameson Williams to hit 1,000 regular receiving yards at plus 175 currently on DraftKings. Again, a lot of these lines and stuff can change. We're not going to keep repeating that, but at the moment, plus 175. J-Mo had 3 games last season that he smashed over 100 receiving yards. He was dynamite for this team. He helped me cash a few parlays last season. He's kind of like, anytime there was a Lions game on, I always threw him and David Montgomery and Gibbs in the mix in some way.
Their entire offense is what you're saying.
Their entire offense, basically. except St. Brown. Except Amon-Ra, which is crazy. There were only 2 games last season where he had 1 reception, which is obviously not ideal, but I think his usage is going to increase as the Lions have the second toughest schedule right behind my New York Giants. And I really do trust Goff to get the ball to the most explosive player on the team. I mean, obviously, outside of Gibbs, Jameson is such an insane insane threat. And you agreed with me on this. This was one of your picks, obviously, because you had to change it, but you agreed with me here.
Yeah, so yeah, Jamo was definitely going to be one of my picks. I think he's going to take a huge step forward in the offense this season, and he was already like such a weapon. Like I said, yeah, I think we threw him in on. He's probably one of our most used players on all of our combined parlay picks that we did last year.
Him and Bucky Irving.
Dude, Bucky Irving is so sick. Yeah, so I think he's going to continue. Obviously, this one was like a no-brainer for me. And I'm surprised, honestly, just the line at plus 175. I would have thought
1,001 yards. He literally just made the cut last season.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know if anybody's worried about, the lack of Ben Johnson if the offense is going to take a step back, but I just don't see that happening. I think that passing game is still going to be, what it was.
So, who is your first pick?
So, my first pick is actually not a wide receiver, but there is a tight end that in my mind is primed to lead their team in all receiving categories this year. Well, there's probably like a couple of tight ends that are going to do that if we're honest. You got Brock Bowers, you got Trey McBride, but George Kittle is also one of those people. And George Kittle at plus 135 is just another steal to me. The 49ers are looking to return to being an elite offense. I think, you're getting Christian McCaffrey back into the mix. But at wide receiver, they're a little thin. Most of their wide receivers are either got contract disputes, they've been traded already, like Debo, they're injured, like pretty much everybody else, or they're about to be injured again. They need George Kittle. In my mind, he's the Fresh Prince standing in an empty living room, looking around and just hauling in passes. And that's what I expect him to do. He had 1,106 yards receiving last season, and I can't see that number going anywhere but up. So I think George Kittle at plus 135 is just insane value.
I totally agree. I mean, Purdy got a huge contract. He's going to have to show everyone that he is worthy from going from the last pick in the draft to an insane contract for the 49ers. They basically have no team kind of at the moment. Like their identity is shot. I mean, going into last season, they were like one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And then towards the end of the season, they're like, is this still a team? Like, do they have to get demoted to like a different organization?
I did a lot of parlays with like division winners last year, and I think the 49ers derailed at least 3 or 4 of those for me. But yeah, I mean,
I'm staying away from them this year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch it. It's we'll talk about. We've already mentioned like we're gonna have a whole category devoted to like never again, and I feel like the 49ers are on my never again list just as an organization right now. But yeah, Kittle, I'm safe with.
All right, my second pick. I wanted to target a rookie wide receiver. Last season, did you know that 4 rookies went over 1,000 yards receiving last year?
Okay.
Can you name all 4?
I mean, I'm thinking Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
I'm thinking Lad McConkey.
Correct. Tight end.
Oh, get it, Brock Bowers. No, Trey
Brock Bowers.
Okay.
No, he wasn't a rookie. 2 years ago.
Okay. There you go. Yep.
Bowers and then Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
So 4 rookies. So I wanted to target someone from this class, and there was a lot of good candidates. I'm going to go with a crazy, not crazy, dark horse, because he is one of the kind of the most anticipated rookies, I would say, from this year. And then that's going to be Matthew Golden, and it's plus 370. Jordan Love finally has a first-round wide receiver to throw to. The Green Bay Packers fans have been yelling at the organization for years and years that they never draft a wide receiver in the first round.
They just had to wait until Aaron Rodgers wasn't there anymore.
Exactly. And last year, they kind of got plagued with injuries, including Jordan Love. But I want to say it's a risky move, but at the same time, like, Jordan Love is being considered like one of the best quarterbacks out there. So he's got to throw to someone. You got Reed, Dobbs, and then Watson, who I think he like broke his back last year, like something like that. Like he spinal injury. Yeah, he got roughed up. And I think Reed is currently injured or has like a walking boot or something. So who are they throwing to? They're going to throw to Matthew Golden. And even if Love gets hurt, what I saw from Malik Willis the backup, he's solid. Like, he's pretty good. They won some games with the backup last year. So I think Matthew Golden, out of a lot of the candidates, I was looking at Tyler Warren for a hot minute.
If I was gonna pick a rookie, Tyler Warren might be.
But I was like, who's throwing to him? Is Tyler Warren going to throw to Tyler Warren? Because he also played a little QB in some of the schemes at Penn State. So, like, I don't trust it. I mean, he could, and maybe I'll throw it in. Maybe I'll just do a separate bet on some Tyler Warren futures, because I do love me some tight ends. Yep, you can clip that.
We like to. Oh man, I wasn't even gonna catch you in that one. I was simply gonna say, like, you're just admitting that we also like to lose money on the side, not just within the realm of our podcast.
Correct. But before we get into your next pick, what do you think about Golden?
I do. I like bringing rookies into the mix. I might have a rookie coming up in another category that I want to talk about. So yeah, I'm all for that. I didn't necessarily look at Golden specifically, maybe because it was plus 370, but that makes sense. As we look through ours, you'll see a lot. I've made the comment, you're the juice guy. You like to go through and make sure that there's some profit to be had. I'm throwing in a lot of, like, kind of on the plus 100 line marks, maybe a minus 150 just for good measure. But no, you're like, give me plus 370, and I admire and
already a 4-leg parlay that's gonna go in the thousands. Need that plus 370.
Let's make some money.
All right, who's the last pick in the receiver parlay?
Okay, so I imagine that while Aaron Rodgers is sitting there in the darkness, imagining his life or getting in touch with his ancestors, whatever one does, he was also grinning ear to ear, thinking about throwing footballs to none other than DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, who is plus 100. It's a guy that we all know he's ridiculously talented, ridiculously sized, weapon at wide receiver. A guy that had 992 yards catching passes from one Geno Smith last year, in an offense where he was sharing targets with JSN, and a team that also relied a lot on the legs of Kenneth Walker III. So I don't think it's going to be a difficult leap to catch those extra 8 yards and go through and get him over the 1,000-yard mark. I think DK is primed to have a really good season with Pittsburgh, as long as Aaron Rodgers performs at least to the level that he was towards the end of maybe last season with the Jets. But I think this is, in his mind, supposed to be his last season at quarterback. So he wants to go out with a bang. If you're going to try to do the sure thing and have a good season, you need to really capitalize on those targets. And there's no bigger target for you than DK.
I think what he meant by go out with a bang is get hit so hard that he explodes into dust because he's 100 years old. Yeah, I mean, you'll see later in this episode that I make a similar pick, and we'll talk about that. But rounding out this parlay, already we're
oh boy,
we got some juice.
What's plus, the line, Al?
All right, this 4-leg parlay. So we have, as a little refresher, we have Jameson Williams plus 175, George Kittle plus 135, Matthew Golden plus 370, and DK Metcalf plus 100. That equals plus 5,974. $20 to win, $1,214.95. Ben, I already spent the money. It's a lock. It's the whole point of this podcast.
That's gonna fund next year's podcast season.
It's gonna pay for the recording of this season of the podcast and then some.
And that's just one. We got 2 more coming. So
we do have 2 more.
This is going well so far.
Yeah. Can you hit us with the what are we doing for rushing?
So for rushing, the milestone marker that we're trying to get them to go through reach is 1,000 yards. There were 16 running backs, I believe that met this mark last year. So I'm already excited for what we just talked about, and there's that tinge of optimism that just creeps in, and the fact that these are futures, and so we don't get to have our dreams dashed right away. We get to let this live on. So I'm excited to talk through who the running backs options. I'm curious because I know one of yours already, and I gave you shit for it.
You did.
I can't wait to hear you try to justify that pick. But lead off with your first guy. Who are you starting?
Okay. My first pick, honestly, like between last week and this week, it was almost going to be a Panthers focused podcast because I was considering Bryce Young. I was considering the Panthers to crush their win total.
Also like
Uh,
that, yeah.
I know, and I was looking at Bryce Young for the QB parlay. So I'm going to take a Panther, and I'm going to take Chuba Hubbard plus 115. I don't know why I like the Panthers so much this year. I had some futures with them last year that did not pan out at all. But they really started to look like a decent team towards the end of the last season. And that really has a lot to do with Chuba.
You're going to continue.
They had a high draft pick.
Is that the pronunciation? Did you ask him? Does he like Chuba?
Is it Chuba? It's Chuba. Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba. Yeah.
Oh, that's why this podcast exists, for you to correct me on.
Bijan, Bijan has been taken care of.
Chuba.
I want to. If Chuba's listening right now, I want to make sure he's okay.
He's listening to a sports betting podcast that hasn't been released yet. So Chuba, thank you for the correction. With Jonathan Brooks out, who was their high draft pick last year, he's out for 2026. And he only played 3 games last season. Hubbard is a workhorse and really has an opportunity with this team, who I feel like is getting better and better, to be one of the league's best running backs. And I'm really not even worried about their acquisition of Rico Dowdle, because I see him being more of like a utility player. I don't see them as like a 2-back kind of offense, like what the Lions have perfected with Gibbs and Montgomery. I see Dowdle playing, more of the pass catch, and Hubbard just relentlessly attacking the run, and that's my hope, and that's why I think his odds are plus 115. I think Vegas agrees that he's going to do really well this season.
Yeah, I do support that one, and I mean, I think a lot of teams would like to have that 1-2 punch that the Lions have with Gibbs and Montgomery. There's just not a lot of those options. There's not a lot of like bell cow backs like in the NFL. There's only a handful, maybe, but I think that Chuba is one of those guys that is gonna take the vast majority. I'm sure his snap share is gonna be upwards of 60. I think plus 115 is really good value for him. And I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, so there's a lot of unearned optimism around the Panthers right now. But I think, it's a team that did have success, and it's an exciting, team to watch whenever they're good. We'll see how it goes. But I do like Chuba.
I think I'm going to need you to go on site at every home game just to like report back to me and like let me know how he's doing.
But then no. Okay.
Tickets are like $5 to go see them.
It depends on what week. Early, they're kind of expensive, but then when you get to like week 5 and 6, nobody wants to go anymore.
When they're 0-6.
Yeah, unless things turn around, and then it's hard to get tickets again. But I gotta watch my Commanders play. I can't be at other teams' games. You know this.
That's fair. Who's your first pick?
Not a Commander. I'm not one to shower UNC Tar Heels of any kind with praise, but I did happen to catch enough of Omarion Hampton's games last season to know that the kid is special. I teased that I was going to have a rookie on the list. He is him, plus 185. I won't be shocked, honestly, if he has a better rookie season than Ashton Genty. I mean, he went for over 1,500 yards, the last 2 years in college. The Chargers invested their first round pick, number 22, I believe, overall. And I feel comfortable making him my first pick here. Najee Harris is his competition, and there are more question marks around that guy than the Riddler. So I feel very, very confident that Omarion Hampton is going to be the guy there for the Chargers. And I think that their running game is going to finally take a big step forward with him as their lead back. So I'm excited to see what he does. But I think for a rookie, plus 185, he's definitely maybe one of 2 rookie running backs that I could see going through and reaching that 1,000-yard mark this year.
Yeah, I think he's on the right team for it. We saw what Dobbins did last year. I also am not a Najee Harris believer in any stretch of the imagination. I could see this rookie stepping in and just completely taking over the offense from him. For sure. You ready for my second pick?
Oh, am I ready? No, I'm not. I don't think the podcast is. But do it
I don't
anyway.
know why I'm
Let's
doing
just
this to
rip the
myself.
band-aid
I don't
off.
know why. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. There's so much like good vibes happening with this team this year that it's really like I'm really jinxing it at this point. But my second pick is
Are there,
Tyrone
or is it
Tracy
just
Jr.
you? Oh god.
It might just be me. My second pick is Tyrone Tracy Jr. at plus 225. I was shocked when I looked and saw that Tracy had ran for 839 yards last season. Now I know that's not 1,500 yards or 1,000 yards is what we're trying to get to.
It's definitely not 50.
839, 839 with DJ and Cutlets at QB. With Russ as the QB, I honestly think this is the time for Tracy to just explode. I think he's going to be sick this season. Now, I'm also a huge Scatterboo fan. I cannot wait to see this guy. But Tyrone Tracy's still going to be the lead back, and I think he's going to get the yards with Russ. I might even look at the alt number at this. Plus 1,200.
No,
Or sorry,
you're just getting silly.
1,250. 1,250 is plus 900. I'm just throwing that out there. I might throw $10 on that. I think this team is not only going to be very watchable this season, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And we talked about it last week, like 5.5 wins. How are they going to win these games? Is it going to just be neighbors? Is it going to, is it going to be, it could be probably, it might be neighbors. I really think Tracy's going to have a sick year. And again, 839 yards. We needed him to get a little less than 200 more with competent QBs behind, leading the charge. Tyrone Tracy plus 225. Why do you hate it?
Don't sound so excited when you say that. Like, I hate it. Well, for multitude of reasons. I do think that the reason he was as close to that 1,000-yard mark as he was last year is because they needed something to mix up between throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors every passing possession. So they had to run the ball. They were forced to. I think now with better quarterback play, they should be more effective throwing the ball and be able to spread it out a little bit better. I don't know that they're going to have to rely on handing the ball off that much. And when they do, I do think that Scatterbo is like the more exciting player. Maybe it's because, he's the new guy coming in and he's got all this kind of hype coming out of college. And it was just fun watching him like in the late season when he started to get some notoriety. But I do think he's going to be in the mix at running back for sure. So I see that as more of like the potential to be a 50-50 split at running back, in which case I don't think that he's going to surpass what he did last year, let alone improve upon it to get 1,000. So there are no vetoes. We're not allowing it. So we're rolling with this one. But this is the one that I will be most surprised, pleasantly, if it happens, but most surprised if it goes through and hits.
It's a season-long journey that we're on together. What's your final pick for the running backs here?
All right, so I want as many pieces of action that I can get on the Bengals offense. Chase Brown, to me, at plus 150 feels like a steal. Obviously, the issues that the Bengals find themselves in constantly in games is being behind early or having to get into shootouts to keep up because their defense isn't strong. Usually, that's going to come from the golden arm of Joe Burrow. But despite that, Chase Brown did have 990 yards rushing last year. And that was after just solidifying himself as the starter and really the lead back maybe midway through the season. I think like for the first 3 or 4 games of the year, he only had like a handful of carries at most. He was splitting time with Zach Moss. So once he became the guy, he really charged forward. And I think that he's obviously coming into this season as the lead back. Nobody's going to be stealing too many touches from him at that position. I think he's easily going to exceed 1,000 yards rushing. If I was going to go through and throw an alt line in, I could see taking 1,250 here instead of just 1,000. But give me Chase Brown plus 150 as my last running back selection.
It's a great pick. Anything Bengals offense, as discussed previously in the last episode, I am down with anything related to that offense. It's so much fun and explosive, and Brown is a huge part of that now. Like, he completely took over the role from it was Mixon, right? Was there other guy?
No, so Mixon already got to the Texans.
Oh,
So they
Mixon got
started
Texan.
off. Yeah. If you were listening to me at all, Al, you know that I said Zach Moss.
Oh, yes, Moss, who's, like, done, right? Like, he's, like, out of the league.
I don't know where he is. Like, I had pieces of him with the Colts, I think, in a fantasy season, and then he came over there and was trying to steal a few carries, but didn't really have the same amount of success. Once people saw Chase Brown on the field, they were like, we don't need to see anybody else on the field.
Yeah, sorry I wasn't listening to you. I was already counting the money that
Counting
we were
how
gonna
much
make.
money we're about to make off the second one.
Exactly. Yeah,
I appreciate that. That's important.
yeah. Well, speaking of which, again, we're just counting dough. These 4 picks, which, just to give you a quick update, or reminder, Chuba Hubbard at +115, Omarion Hampton +185, Tyrone Tracy Jr. +225, and then Chase Brown +150. That's going to equal plus 4,878. $20 would turn into $995.71. Easy money.
Okay.
All right, last parlay of the episode. We are going to be talking about quarterbacks and not the Netflix series. We're talking about actual quarterbacks hitting 3,500 regular season passing yards.
A feat in which 18 accomplished last season. So I'd mentioned earlier, you asked me how I felt about the last episode selections that we made. And there was one particular thing that as I was going through and looking at the options for quarterbacks to exceed 3,500, I was like, I'm going to talk directly against everything that I said about the Chicago Bears because I think Caleb Williams at -150 is a guy that you've got to throw in this parlay. Statistically speaking, Caleb Williams did not have a poor season last year. He finished with 3,541 passing yards, which by all accounts is really a solid debut for a rookie. What makes you think about him differently and not put him in that category with like the seasons that Jane Daniels had and the Bo Nix had, aside from like playoff implications. He unfortunately also led the league in throwaways and sacks, which if you think about it, is just a wild stat that you're taking the most sacks and you're also throwing the ball away more than any other quarterback in the NFL.
What?
It seems like a decision-making
What a
problem,
hero.
an offensive line problem, just a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But my belief would be that with Ben Johnson at the helm, the offense should get a jolt, and I think that's largely going to come, through the air with the passing game. You still got DJ Moore there and Roma Dunze there. They're both solid weapons. He already crossed the 3,500-yard mark last year, so I don't see any reason why he wouldn't duplicate that success as far as the yardage this season as well. So, yeah, give me Caleb Williams -150.
Going against everything we said last episode, basically having no faith in this man. I have to begrudgingly like it. He made it by 41 yards last season. I think he could probably hit that again with the weapons and, as you mentioned, Ben Johnson at the helm. I think he has a good shot. I'm going to give you my first pick, and I really hate it. I hate my first pick. I don't
It's
know
probably
why.
better if we hate our picks, honestly.
I guess you're right. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, I truly despise this pick. This QB had 3,897 passing yards last season, which was up 3,897 yards from his 2023 season because he played about 2 snaps. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Old man Aaron Rodgers, to be exact, at +105. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like the Steelers, but I do like facts. And you went over these facts. The facts are Rodgers has one thing left, and it's his arm. And the other fact is he has DK Metcalf, who had almost 1,000 yards in 15 games last season. So he didn't even have, the 17 games, and he still almost hit 1,000 yards. And that was with Geno Smith, who, to be fair, threw for over 4,000 yards on a better team. But if the Steelers are truly leaning on Rodgers to lead this season, and as you mentioned previously, his swan song basically It's going to have to come from his arm. And I think at plus money with him hitting this number by almost 400 yards last season, I would think he would hit at least 3,500. But
One
who
would think.
knows? He's insane. Who knows?
That is accurate. That is more accurate than his arm is, which is also very accurate. He's one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with the pick. Obviously, like it coincides with the DK Metcalf pick earlier, wide receiver. So I also think that he is capable of far exceeding that mark. I think that's safe. Another guy that I think is safe is my second quarterback pick, Mr. Sam Darnold, at minus 110. Sam Darnold is a guy that's proven that he can be a very good statistical quarterback. He threw for 4,319 yards last year with the Minnesota Vikings.
Crazy.
Incredible numbers. Was basically on top of the NFC. He had some like MVP chance at some point, I'm sure, before ultimately melting down as he started to head into the playoffs and started seeing ghosts again.
Insane fashion, he melted
Just
down.
that Detroit Lions game, like he looked like a completely different person. Like the
did.
Monstars came in and stole his talent. Things got really weird all of a sudden. I think he's a confidence guy. And I think he's a guy that does really well, like in a new environment, where kind of I guess the pressure's not quite on him yet, but he doesn't perform well once the pressure kind of gets there. And he becomes the guy, and people are starting to talk about him and looking to him to take a step forward. So now he's on a Seattle Seahawks team who are coming off of Geno Smith, which you talked about was a very capable quarterback, but not necessarily somebody that leaves like overly large, shoes to fill. I think you really can't tell me that with JSN and Cooper Kupp to throw to, and Kenneth Walker III to, kind of take the pressure off with the run game, that Darnold can't easily surpass 3,500 yards again. I mean, he can regress quite a bit. I realize he doesn't have Justin Jefferson, but he arguably has like more weapons around him other than just, one obviously great wide receiver. So yeah, I think Sam Darnold is an easy pick here.
Yeah, I like this pick. It's literally almost 1,000 yards less that we're hoping that he can do with capable receivers. So I like the pick. I was going to do it, but then it would have gone against me picking all plus money. All right, so for the final pick, instead, I was going to go back to the Panthers. Well,
oh, you should have.
I should have. I know you love this pick, but
no.
I'm going to give it to the most overshadowed and underrated number one pick in, I don't know, how many years? Like, when have you ever seen a number one pick not talked about like this?
Yeah, nobody really comes to mind.
Yeah.
Usually there's like a whole bunch of hype. But yeah, I think you're sound in that there's no chatter.
No chatter.
And there is talent.
No chatter, talent, and pretty much no expectations, because you're going, like, it's one of the worst teams in the NFL who had one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the worst. And this is coming from a team who had a guy who follows a team that had Daniel Jones as their quarterback. Will Levis was atrocious at quarterback. And so any upgrade from there is great. But now you bring in Cam Ward at plus 175. I just can't see him not taking advantage of the situation where, like, he was a star star college QB, going to a team with, again, no expectations. He is their future. Like, he's like, at the moment in time right now, like, they're banking on him to be their QB of the future. I also kind of like his receivers, which is
that
weird.
What a number one pick is? Is that the investment that you have? We're banking on you to be good. We would really appreciate it.
Well, did they bank on Will Levis to be good? Wasn't he like a first rounder too? Didn't they pick him way early in the first? I mean, like morons. But anyway,
it happens.
It does happen. Listen, and there's a lot of number one overall picks that are busts, but again, I don't know why people are just, the amount of times I heard the name Shadur Sanders, even also coming from my mouth and from my messages on our Facebook Messenger or text, he's the fourth guy on the depth chart of the Browns.
Yeah.
And we are not talking about literally the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. So again, it's risk, right? But we're talking about a QB who has the keys to the castle. How many QBs did incredible last year who were rookies? You had Jaden, you had Bo, you had Drake May. That's a lot of good names right there. And even Penix towards the end of the season was doing very well. And I think he's going to have a great
JJ
season.
McCarthy looks like. I mean, side note, but I really feel like last year's rookie class is one of the best, like ever, or at least has the potential to be one of the best.
It does have
stuff of how the first season started. Yeah,
truly. I mean, it's rivaling 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me just go through the receivers real quick, and then we'll finish this up. But Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, on paper, not great. At the same time, it's like three reliable dudes. Calvin Ridley did pretty good
wide
last
receiver
season.
twos. Yeah, a lot of really good wide receiver twos.
I mean, Van Jefferson's like a wide receiver 4.
Okay, and Van Jefferson. He's built up in my mind more because he's another guy that I think always found his way onto our parlays for some reason.
I know.
So we just need you to have 2.5 catches, man.
Exactly. It's a very Moneyball style offense. But like I said, he's got the keys to the kingdom. Levis is out. Like, that's it. Like, it's Cam Ward or bust, right? I honestly think he could throw for like 4,000 yards, a lot of interceptions potentially, but it won't matter because our pick will hit. I think if he's going to be rookie of the year, he's going to have to show his arm off. It sucks that he has 3 wide receiver 2s or 2 wide receiver 2s and a wide receiver 5 to throw to.
Oh, you went from a 4 to a 5.
I demoted him. But yeah, Cam Ward plus 175.
Yeah.
I'm going to give
initially. I initially like I kind of laughed when I saw the pick, and I was going to give you shit. But I don't think that you're too wrong because I think it's a team that's not going to be playing for much this year, and they have no reason not to just air the ball out like constantly and try to do what they can to build towards the future.
For sure. What is this parlay gonna get us, by the way?
Negative $20.
Probably.
No, so we're looking at a line here of plus 1693. So that will take $20 and turn it into $358.75. You want to see a magic trick? We can make $60 disappear in just 3 quick parlays. But it's actually, I mean, it's our most reasonable odd selection of all the ones that we did. I'm still kind of going back to just the astronomical odds that we had on our first one with the wide receivers. But yeah,
just know, listeners, that this episode costs us at least $60 to produce. All right, well. Thank you, Ben, for your picks. As always, this is going to be fun, man. I'm excited for this season. I'm excited to do this podcast with you. This is a little different because this is, again, multiple parlays that we're doing for this one, and they are season-long milestone parlays. So we're going to be following this. Maybe we should do like a midway checkpoint on all of these.
We could do that in the midst of like, so we lost another one. And also we're not tracking well.
Aaron Rodgers exploded in game 5. So he's
just
done.
See how many of these picks are like, there could be some of these that are already basically in the trash can. But 100%. Maybe some of them will still be alive.
Yeah. And you can tail these, which again, name of the podcast, don't tail this. You can see all 3 of these bets that we are making on our Instagram and Twitter at Don't Tail This. You can reach out to us, which we forgot to mention last week. You could reach out to us and tell us how stupid these parlays are, or if you tailed them, or if you have some good picks that you want us to read out loud and not tail because they're probably much better and smarter than us. You can reach out to us at don'ttailthis@gmail.com. So for myself and for Ben, thank you so much for listening. And have a great one. Don't Tail This is produced by Al Mannarino and Ben Murchison. Edited by Al Mannarino. Theme song by Lucas Jones. Follow Don't Tail This on Instagram and Twitter at Don't Tail This. We are committed to responsible gaming. Please visit www.rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. And always bet responsibly, which of course means don't tail this.